America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America TV is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Welcome, America! That's right. This is the Invent America show right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. I am your co-host, the Cajun Contractor, Michael King. We want to welcome all of my Home Talk USA radio audience that's just keeping on the dial. And we're just running through the show here. And now I'd like to welcome the co-host, my partner in crime, in white-collar crime.
Wait a minute, don't go there. I work with lawyers all the time.
The Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Rita, how you doing?
How
was your week? How was your week?
Busy getting ready for the winter season to drop in on us, because it is getting chilly out here, and the leaves, we live in the forest, so the leaves are falling like crazy. So enjoy the outdoors.
I can't wait each week on the different topics that we discuss. We got a full lineup, and we got great entrepreneurs that's going to be on the show, and I can't wait to talk with them. But I love to spend these little 6-7 minutes with you each week, and we kind of recap what's going on, what happens during the week. Last week's shows, we got political a little bit because a lot of political things was coming up. With China, the meeting with China, we wanted to, because it affects what we do here on the show. And I need to tell you, I want to put a big kudos to our president. He represented us great. But now let's get back to what we need to talk about. And one of the biggest mistakes that I think that developers and inventors and people that want to get their product to market, there's one thing that they never put a consideration is that, and I love how you say this because you preach this all the time, it takes money to make money. And we even asked them, I said, now, do you have anything for marketing? I mean, well, what do you mean? And like, okay, well, how much it's going to cost? It's already cost you $100,000 or $200,000 to get it to market. Do you have $500,000 to market it? Because whatever you took to get it to market, you need 3 times more.
I don't start with that because I don't want to give anybody a heart attack.
I know, and I can just see the 3 guests saying, oh, Lord have mercy, I wish I would have been told that in advance that it was going to cost me this kind of money. But we hear the horror stories, right, Rita? We hear the horror stories.
We do. And so, when I get inventors that call me first and want to talk about what to expect, I can kind of walk them through the pendulum swing of that and options. And so for some, it really does save the day. And for some, it's like, I'm not going to go there. And others, we look at what the options are. But it does. I mean, when you go out the door and you start spending money, for a lot of the inventors, they're spending a ton of bucks to get this thing even to the point where they could start making some. And it's like, I always tell them, it's like, it's going to take twice as long and cost twice as much. And when they call me and now they've got maybe, a short run of inventory and stuff, and they say, but I don't have any more money. It's like, okay, well, that is the wrong time to call me. But it does happen on a pretty regular basis. Yeah. And so we've got, a lot of folks lining up to go to ASD Market Week with us. They've got a limited budget, and that's fine. By then, the fact that they've got any budget at all is a miracle. And so being able to get, out there and start showing products, letting our contacts know what the products are, and the new people that have contacted me is great. We're going to a show on Wednesday here in Eastern Tennessee that is it's got a Made in America pavilion. So we're going to go and we're going to look at the new products and the folks that are there, and get them on the show. We're going to see who's there and get them on the Made in America hour, because they're there and they want to be able to tell their story, and that's what we do.
Well, what do you mean it takes money to make money, though? Actually takes it to make it. I mean,
You got to
because
spend it to make it. Okay, so when we look at, all right, you file the patent. Well, you're not going to make any money at that point, and then you get your prototypes made. Well, you're still dishing it out there, and it's not until you've actually got a short run in some inventory that you can start selling. The whole idea is selling. So when we say it takes money to make money, you're dishing a lot of it out there, and that's some of the reality check that we're going to talk about today with our guests is, what are we looking at? When somebody comes to me and they say, I've got $10,000, how can we squeeze it to get you teed up for licensing? If somebody comes to me and says, I've got 100 grand I can put on this, it's like, you go, girl, because now we've got something to seriously work with. What's your ultimate goal? When they come to me and say, I've spent 50 grand on the patent, it's like, you should have had a different attorney. So those are some of the things that we look at as far as the reality check for inventors.
And also a reality check I think needs to happen is once they determine their marketing approach, the next question is, whether or not you want to license this or manufacture this yourself, which makes a difference in what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I we talked about this a lot off the air. I'm from the I'm from the old school that if it's a one-trick pony, license that thing.
Yeah.
Or if you're two-trick pony, license that thing.
I had a gentleman years ago, and he had been an engineer, worked out in the field for agriculture, and had a really creative problem-solving mind. Well, when he retired, he and his son would go to the Ace Hardwares, see the people that were coming in to have repairs done on tools, what was getting thrown away, and they started then designing and developing new tools to replace the ones that broke a lot. And he was making, six figures every year just on licensing royalties because he didn't want to make and sell. He just wanted to invent and go on to the next one. And that's what he did, him and his son. And, they had a royally good time.
Yeah, and we've had guests like that that's, they move on to one, they have 8 or 9 going on, and they're going to license it.
Yep.
But that's a big thing they need to understand. If they're going to manufacture this themselves, they better have deep pockets because one-trick ponies are very hard. Now, they have one-trick ponies that very succeed, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, the odds are really against you. Just get your royalty check.
Well, they are, and you've got to have really deep pockets to do it yourself, mainly because of the reach. When you license it to somebody, they're going to put it into all of the main flow of consumer products for that industry. All right. Yeah. So if it's, a home gadget, a kitchen gadget, a pet product, a sporting goods, and we license it to a sporting goods company, they're going to get it into all the stores. Well, for a lot of inventors, they don't have the reputation yet. And, companies don't want to take the risk.
But we only got a couple minutes left, and but you're right. It takes money to make money, and it's just as simple as that. And that's like in anything that you do, investment, ROI, return of investment, what you need. There's a lot of things I think are going to get better in the United States when it comes to manufacturing, prototyping, technology, AI, 3D. I mean, we didn't have this 10 years ago, as you know. So a lot of it is being it's bringing the cost down because more people are using this technology, where before it was only 5 or 6 companies that could afford to use the technology, the big boys. And that's the advantage that they had, huh, Rita?
Yeah. And, we can bring back, with the technology. And so a factory that had to have 100 employees may now need to have 25 employees. And so we can bring a lot of that technology back and that manufacturing back because we've got that ability now. And so factories are being renovated. Companies that started out are small are growing because of the technology that's available to them. And it's wonderful to watch. It really is. I mean, we've seen the pendulum swing so far now one way, and now it's coming back towards the middle. And it's fun to watch.
All right, Rita, we're going to have to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to have our guests. So stay with us right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, the third hour is the Made in American show. Stay with us here on the King's Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at hometalkusa.com. For any guests, any topics, just go to the website, hometalkusa.com. Check out the Invent America show, Made in America, Home Talk USA, all our guests, all our topics, each week, every week, for the past, how many years? 30 years. Whoa. Y'all scare me to death. I'm the Cajun man. Me and the Inventor Lady was going to be right back. Stay with us. Yeah.
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
And thank you so much for being with us for this episode of Invent America, because America invents. We love solving problems out there and making products better. This segment is brought to you by Wood & Wood. They are the trusted seamless gutter company that specialize exclusively in gutters and making sure that that water goes where it is supposed to. I have some on a very dangerous corner in my house, and hello, the water stopped leaking into the attic. Yay, Wood & Wood. We need gutters.com. My first guest today is Steve McCoy. He's also solved a worrisome house problem because he has got a window storm panel that is easy to put on and protects you from, somebody throwing a rock through your house or bad weather coming. So Steve, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so you've got a window storm panel and you're just really kind of getting started with it. Tell our listeners, what is it? What's coming to help them save their windows?
Well, the good thing about it is it's really easy to install. It installs from the inside of the house and locks into the existing screen channel on the window. So a lot of panels have to be installed on the exterior, either with screws or bolts, and you have to get up on the second story on a ladder. It's a little difficult to do, especially when you're older like me. So I made something that you can install from the inside, detach from the inside, locks in place, and it completely covers the entire window area that can be damaged from a hurricane or from flying debris. And the big difference is you can buy a hurricane window with stormbreaker glass that's laminated, and if something does hit the glass, it still shatters it, and you still have to replace it. Whereas this covers it completely and stops it from being shattered in the first place.
Well, I saw the video you sent to me, and it was amazing, one, how easy it was to do it from the inside, because all of my windows like that are on the second floor. The last thing that I want to do is be trying to put up a ladder when the wind's blowing like crazy. And, when you're looking at doing that, you want to be able to do it fast, you want it to do it easy, and you want to know it's going to work. And these are just they're easy to install. It's rather obvious. You'd think, wow, why didn't somebody do this before, right?
Yes, thank you. Agreed.
So, we're talking about how you've got to spend money to get to the next step, and that crazy circle. It's like spend a little money, spend a little more money, spend a little bit more money. How have you been managing the crazy?
Well, it's all out of pocket at this point, and I built 3 prototypes myself, and each one I made it lighter, I made it easier to use, I made it just more user-friendly and also manufacturers-friendly. I try to make it so these parts can be manufactured individually, sold as a package, and installed on a panel that the homeowner could buy, or you could supply it as one unit. And that part is the thing that's exciting, because it can be small packages that you sell, and now the homeowner can put it together themselves, save a little money, store them, use them when they can, and it makes, like you said, it makes sense why it hasn't been done yet.
And especially I've seen the ones that you've got to install from the outside. You've got to climb up, you've got to be able to do it, and you've got to have all the tools. This one is so easy. And it's easy to take down as well. When it's all set, when the storm is done, or you get back, to the house you're building. And out here we see houses being built all the time. So, I know several of the guys that renovate that are going to want to get their hands on these as soon as possible. And we are going to show it off for you and get it out there. What are your goals? What are you looking for as next steps?
Ultimately, I would like to connect with several of the window manufacturers that I appreciate. I could name their names, but there are really good manufacturers that can utilize this system. Quite simply, put their name on it, and sell it in their catalog, as a package. If you're building to code and you're near the water or you're in high wind zones, you have to have a hurricane panel for all your windows, and you could sell the package with the windows, and it can be ready for you right then and there. It passes the inspection. The building inspector says this is great. They get your CO, and you're all done.
Well, I know that, Michael understands the hurricane season. All right. I live in the forest. I understand tornado season. I grew up in the, upper western part of the country. I understand blizzard season very well. And oh yeah, new construction where people want to go by and say, oh, can you hit that window with a rock? So, I don't know that there's really any place in the country that doesn't need to protect their windows, either when the weather gets bad, and we know it can everywhere, or that you're leaving the house for a while. If you're gonna go on vacation and everybody knows you're gone, you, windows are expensive, darn it.
Yeah, you're right. That's a perfect example. You've got a house that's either a foreclosure and has to be boarded up quickly and simply. The board ups they put on there are big bolts and they come from the inside and they damage the moldings. This doesn't have to do that. It just has to clamp onto the window and that's it. And you can't tear it off from the inside unless you're making noise and you're going to get noticed by the neighbors and someone's going to call the police.
There you go. There you go. How did you come up with this?
So I was renovating a house and put all the brand new windows in, come back the next day, and someone had thrown a big concrete boulder right through one of the new windows. And not only it damaged the window, of course, but damaged the floor. So I figured they'd come back because this is what vandals do. They like to play games. You replace the window and they break a different one. So I figured I had to make something that could board up the house while I wasn't there, but something I could take off so I can get light and ventilation because I've got, very little light inside the house and no ventilation. It could be stifling. So I just put together this, make the plywood panel exactly the same size as the screen. I attached pieces of metal strapping that I had on site because we used it to build the house. And it just slid them into the screen channels on each side and screwed them into it. And what it allowed me to do is all I do is take one strap off one side and take the whole panel out and store it and then put it back at the end of the day. I just needed to
Excellent.
invent something that had easily usable locks that,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, and that was, no pun intended, that was the key because you needed to be able to get them on quickly, safely, and that they would work and protect. It's silly to put up, something that people are going to, be able to still throw a rock through, and or that there's going to be damage in a hurricane or a tornado. It's like some of those branches off those trees that come crashing through, they're big, they're dangerous, and you got to be able to stop them if you're going to be successful at all. So, Steve, we are looking forward to helping you get the word out there and find you some a potential deal and get your product being sold to those homeowners who need that protection. Thank you so much for being with us today. Everybody
Thank you.
out there, we are getting teed up to take products to ASD Market Week. If you are an inventor or you have a product that you are selling, get in touch with us. It's much more productive to go as part of the team, and they are waiting for our products to be listed so that they can start shopping early. If you know somebody that needs a good service provider, I know a bunch of them, and they will help you out, help you kind of control that money spend. So stick with us, everybody. We are going to go and pay some bills, and we are going to be right back with Heather Schwartz. She has got a very cool golf product, and I know that you're going to want to get your hands on that as soon as possible. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. And my guest right now is Heather Schwartz, and Heather has invented a very interesting way of improving your golf game. And having been a golfer, I still have those golf clubs. I get it. I get what you're trying to do. So tell our listeners, what is Swing Scribe?
Yeah, so Swing Scribe is a notebook that was designed to help you improve the game of golf. Whether you're a beginner that's just picked up the golf club for the first time, or if you're a pro player that really wants to fine tune and tighten up your game, This is a free form golf journal that helps you retain information, remember your swing thoughts, remember yardages, remember all of those nuances that you have to do on the golf course. Because Rita, you said you're a golfer, like, you know, everything that you have to think about when you're playing golf. Every club has a different swing thought. Every shot has a different swing thought.
And those little scorecards, you can't write a darn thing on those.
You cannot, no. And I've seen people with like these teeny little notebooks that are flipping through pages. I've seen women with like sticky notes and pieces of paper rolled up in their golf bag. That's no way to live.
Yeah. No kidding, because it's like, where did I put that thing?
Exactly.
And it doesn't, Swing Scribe has got a pattern to it so that you know what you're writing down and what it's matching up with.
Exactly.
And so, explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So think about what the pros play with. They play with a yardage book, but that yardage book was designed for the specific golf course that they're playing. So every hole has their like tricks and tips of what they need to do and their strategy. So I designed a book that was just like a yardage book, but instead of hole by hole, it's club by club. So for every club, you have your swing thoughts organized, because like, the swing thought for your driver is much different than the swing thought for your wedge. So if you're hitting the ball well, great, you write down what you're doing well, what feels good. And if you're not hitting the ball well, then you look at your notes. It's very organized for you. You go right to the page of that club and you're like, ooh, what do I need to be doing? Oh, I need to put my left shoulder down a little bit. Okay, I forgot. Like I said, everything is organized here for you, and it's designed so you put your own notes. These are not my notes.
Right. So you're manufacturing now and you're selling product.
Yes, correct.
All right. Give us your website so anybody out there that's looking for, a stocking stuffer can go and get one.
Perfect. Yeah, www.swingscribe.com. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, and you can also find us on our website.
So that is excellent. So, as you've gone through the steps, all right, and gotten, inventory ready to sell, how have you managed this? Like, oh my God, I cannot believe this invoice. So, I'm sure there's been some sticker shock.
There has been some sticker shock, and it has taken me a very long time to find the exact manufacturers that I really want to work with, that have given me the quality of product that I want to deliver to my customers. I'm very particular, and I know that my clients, my customers are very particular, so I want to pass on quality. But yeah, this has been a lot. It has cost more than I thought it was going to cost. That's okay. And the time has taken a little bit more than I would like it to take. Because in my mind, things happen like this. But in the real world, it's a little bit slow. But that's okay.
Oh,
momentum. Yeah. That's what's important to remember, momentum.
And we had talked about that last week on the show, is that, the inventor's enemy is time, because you can't invent more of it. And the tool set you use is persistence.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And you've got to keep going. You got to keep plugging away. And, you learn from mistakes.
Yes.
And then you fix it and you move on to the next phase. And there are multiple phases. And I'm sure that, as you've gone through the printing, it's like, okay, let's fix it and do it this way. It's a little bit better. So the next print you do, you've got some adjustments to it.
Absolutely. And I'm on the 4th or 5th iteration of my book right now. I always take feedback from my clients. If they say, hey, I think you should tweak this, no problem, I'll take that. I'm always trying to make things more efficient and make things better.
So what's your long-term goal?
I love that question. Long-term goal, I would love to walk into Dick's or the PGA Superstore or Golf Galaxy and see that book, see a Swing Scribe. It's perfect for any level of golfer, any age of golfer.
Well, the guys that want your website and want to, see your product, they do have some contacts there. And so that is really cool. We're going to work on both you and Steve and get you to ASD Market Week, because there are just a ton of people there that are going to want to see both products. It's really cool because we are right next to the tool section, but we've got guys from the sporting good companies that actually come shopping in our booth because they know we're there.
Oh, great.
And it's so much fun. So I'm sure that you've gone to different golfing shows and the PGA shows and everything. Where have you gone to sell your product besides the traditional type of places?
Yeah, so we're also partners with the LPGA Foundation and Girls Golf. So we do a lot of work with them. I've been to a lot of golf tournaments that the LPGA amateurs and pros have done. I'm going to the CME, which is going to be held in Naples, Florida, which is my backyard, later on this month. And honestly, I mean, we connect with a lot of instructors. So if you're a coach, this is a perfect tool so your students can retain the information that you're teaching them, right? And then they can progress as a player.
How long have you been working on this?
A couple years. Years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you've covered a lot of places in a few years.
Yeah, yeah. And we do go to the PGA show. This will be our second year in January in Orlando. We're super excited.
Excellent, wonderful. We love to see folks coming and being able to get to those next steps. So Heather, thank you so much for being with us. We are grateful. We wish you the best. And like I said, I'm not going to give up on you. We're going to get you out there and get you into some of those big box sporting goods stores. So everybody stick with us. We have got our industry expert coming up, Michael Miller. He has been on before, but he's always got some really good advice for inventors. And he's always got some cool new things that you should be buying before Christmas. All right, stick with us. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, and it is brought to you by Noah McNeely and Product Quick Start. He specializes in helping inventors get their prototypes done and ready for manufacturing. It's not a one prototype deal. It takes a kind of a generation to get it all teed up and ready to go. And Michael Miller, my industry expert, he knows that. He's been on the beginning end of watching products get developed and helping inventors get them out there into the big box stores. So Michael, thanks so much for being with us today. And how are you?
I'm doing great, Rita. Thank you so much for having me on again.
It's a pleasure because you've got, years of wisdom to offer to inventors. What is the most common mistake that you see an inventor make?
You know what? It's really about running out of time and money. It
There you go.
it it really is. Those are the biggest mistakes is not properly funding the invention and also not really understanding the direction that you want to go. If you keep on swapping between I'm going to go and do it myself, I'm going to bring it to market myself, or I'm going to license it to a company, those are two entirely different strategies that take different sums of money in order to make them happen. And that's really the key.
Yeah, when I get somebody that, comes to me and they say, all right, I've got a couple prototypes, I know it works. And I know that I want to get to licensing, but I could do a short run so that they've got, a few to sell and everything. You're right, it's a totally different strategy on teeing up for licensing versus teeing up for then doing it all yourself. And for a lot of inventors, when we look at, if your skill set is solving the problem, it's probably not business, manufacturing, and marketing. And
Right.
if you're a marketing person, you're generally not the engineer that solves the problem. So, you get to a certain point where you're kind of out of your sweet spot. And if you're learning on the go, oh my goodness, the mistakes and the money that it costs is crazy.
Absolutely. And the other thing is the value of free advice. And you can't get free advice if you're sitting at home. You can't get free advice if you're on a phone call with just one company. And that's why things like the ASD Marketplace, those types of trade shows and things like that, where you can talk to literally hundreds of people, other inventors, that is free. I mean, yes, it costs you a couple dollars to get somewhere, but oh my goodness gracious, the amount of information that you will get, the feedback on your product, it's immeasurable how much money you've saved by doing something like that.
Yeah, when I get, inventors are, they're teeing up and they're they're looking at what their next steps are going to be, and they say they hired a marketing firm to do market research. It's like, I just want to, it's like just a shot in the gut at the money that's being wasted then, because those firms don't care. All right, they've got no skin in the game. They're going to send an invoice and they really don't care what comes back. When the inventor takes their prototypes to a trade show and they're shaking hands with the people that are representing thousands of consumers, the buyers for some of these different stores, now they get direct feedback. And they touch it, they feel it, they get excited about it. Well, now the inventor's got something concrete to take back. Sometimes they file new intellectual property. Sometimes they say, you know what, I'm going to get 500 done. Sometimes they're making them in their garage and they know that they can sell them. Sometimes they've lined up buyers when they're at the show, but it makes such a difference.
Absolutely. And the other thing about those buyers is they know the manufacturers. Those manufacturers that's their customers. I mean, so they're going to direct you to those different companies that would make a lot of sense for you to license to. And guess what? They already have a relationship with that buyer, and you can tell that company, hey, buyer XYZ told me to contact you.
Yep.
Oh my gracious, you can't get any better than that.
No, when we get a store that says, we want to carry this, and it's like, well, I really want to be able to license it to, who sells you this type of product? Oh, well, John does. Here, let me give you his phone number. And now John knows he's got a buyer lined up for the product. And, so he's much more likely to want to be able to license it and get it to market.
Honestly, they would be crazy not to. I
Yes.
know every time a buyer ever contacted me and said, oh my gosh, I had this inventor, showed me this product, they're just not there yet, but it would be a perfect product for you guys. Guess who I'm calling?
Yep, for sure. And it's wonderful to see we've had, the last couple of years when we've gone to ASD, about a third of the inventors we take will have just prototypes. And that's exactly why they're going. They're going to get feedback. They are going to meet potential licensees. They're going to test then the marketplace on who would be buyers for that licensee. And so they're able to really learn a lot. They learn more in 3 days than they can learn in 6 months doing it on their own.
Absolutely, because you have a couple of different things, especially regarding your pitch. You have the verbal pitch that you're giving to the different buyers and the people at the shows, but then you also have the pitch that's eventually going to go on the packaging of your product. And those people are all able to help you with that type of information. And it just will help you immeasurably as you move forward.
It does. We've had inventors that say, all right, tell me about the name. What do you think about the name? And some of the people walking by have given them really good suggestions on the name for the product. Or they'll say, did you think about having it do it this way? It's like, no, I didn't. And so they get really good feedback, and they're able to then look at, well, if you're going to be a buyer for Bed Bath & Beyond, what kind of packaging would Bed Bath & Beyond want? If you're selling only online, you can put it in a Ziploc bag. But if you're selling at a store, you've got to have packaging.
You do. And I think the other thing that people really don't realize is that the buyers, the people that are working for the manufacturing companies, the licensing people, all of them want to see you succeed. They love giving you advice. They love talking about products. It's really a great world to be in with a lot of really wonderful people. And I think that's something that a lot of people just don't realize about this is that they truly want to see the inventor succeed.
They do. And, when we hit with COVID and the shows were, the different shows were huge. And then COVID hit and we started doing a lot of those things virtually. It is not the same. It is not the same. When you're not shaking the hand and they get to touch and feel and play with the invention, it's totally different. So now the shows they're starting to build back up. Like I said, we're going to a big one in Sevierville this week, where we're going to walk around and look at the products and find those made in America products that we can get on the radio, and see who's there that we can get to convince that they should be going to ASD Market Week with us. So we're going to be going out and you know, looking and meeting and shaking people's hands and you know, getting them on the radio. So we're looking forward to it. But then we go to ASD Market Week in March, and you know, be able to do the same thing, is get inventors out there and show off their products and get them done. So I'm hoping that we will see you out there, and that, you know, because I know you do go to trade shows and work with different inventors to help them get through the process. And we are grateful that you were able to join us today. Take care, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. I love being on the show.
So, and we love having you. If you are out there, you know an inventor who's trying to get a product into the marketplace. If you are an inventor yourself, married to one, sometimes you're just looking to get that husband out of the kitchen, tell him to go out and invent something in the garage. I'm sure he's got plenty of ideas that he can start working on. And, you know, we are here to help and tell the stories, and we've got a lot of inventors out there who would really like it if you went shopping on their websites for the holiday season that is coming. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.